Alright, what is going on, guys? We got a very special video today. I just finished my tier list, so before we get into anything, a couple disclaimers. First thing I want to address is, I swear I already know I'm going to see comments saying, oh, you're copying Seaton. I know I'm going to see that. So, first of all, Seaton does not have a copyright claim on tier lists. He didn't invent them. Tier lists have been in games forever. And the reason why I'm making one now is actually I've made them before. Back when we first started Omni as a group, we made tier lists together, a couple of them. And I really enjoy that. I really enjoy making tier lists. And the thing is, yeah, sure, there's multiple people can do it because it's different, man. Every tier list is not going to be the same. Me and, of course, Seaton are going to have different opinions, and my tier list is very different from his, and I'll highlight some of those differences in this video. And just, it's my opinion. I'm putting it out there. It's my content, so, yeah, I just want to get that out of the way, a little disclaimer there. And, yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. So let me quickly explain my tier list, a couple of things, and the reason why I wanted to make one, because I've been playing Smash Ultimate, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate on the Nintendo Switch, and it's a lot of fun, man. And when I'm playing that game, I think there's balance updates, there's patch updates, and people make tier lists, and I was looking at them, I'm like, dude, yeah, I want to make a tier list for this game, for MCOC again, man. So the way I do my tier list here is, so there's God tier, of course, everybody knows God tier, but above God tier is we got Omni tier. So I actually came up with the name Omni for the Alliance way back in the day. I came up with it as, when we were first actually making our first tier list, we wanted something above God tier back then, and I was like, what could it be? What's above God tier? I'm thinking like omnipotence, like that sort of thing. So like Omni, there's a solar system, there's the galaxy, there's the universe, there's the multiverse, and there's the omniverse. So that's where that's from. Quick explanation, and then we got here SS tier and S tier, A, B, C, and D, and it goes to F tier, the joke tier. But basically, with that's how tier lists usually are in other games. SS being like crazy overpowered or like crazy powerful, S tier being like crazy powerful. So yeah, I got both those: Omni tier, God tier, SS tier, S tier, A tier, Titan tier, Great tier as in B tier, Alright tier as in C tier, Bad tier as in D tier, and then Joke tier as in F tier. So yeah, quickly to address those. The next thing we just need to address before we start talking about any champions specifically is this little emoticon right here is a huge benefit from a synergy or synergies. This little muscle sign is reliant on persistent charges, like building them up or using them in a specific manner. This little hand pointing up is a major benefit from a max sig level. This little hand writing with a pencil is benefit from a specific mastery or masteries. And this little one, this is very unique. I really like this. Is my favorite one, man. Little robot. This is for the perfect play style. So let's start with that. Let's start with that one. No better place to start into this. This is going to be a long video. I'm sure we have so much to talk about on this first tier list. It took so long to make. I did this all from scratch. And hopefully I have all the champions in here. I think I do. I've went over it like twice, checked every name. Might have someone twice. I don't know. Let me know if you guys catch anything like that. But yeah, I'll start with the robot. So what the robot means is basically a perfect play style. So a champion can be at this level, but they have to be played perfectly. So first one, Ghost in the Omni tier. Ghost is one of the most powerful champions of the game, for sure, hence being in this tier. But the thing about Ghost is it requires a very specific playstyle, and it's very difficult to master, and you gotta play it perfectly to get Ghost off at that high level. We've got a couple other robot signs. One is for Quake here. Quake, man, she was like on the border of breaking into Omni tier, and in the right hands, I think she can be in it. But it's to play that level of Quakeness is insane. There's not many people that can play at that level of Quake. And when I say that level, I mean like you can take debuff immune, yeah, even debuff immune. Like you can take like anything with Quake, but to play that level of Quake, man, it requires a lot of practice. Gotta be very good. Also, Hela. It's probably weird saying Hela in God tier, but yes, Hela is in God tier, but it requires the robot. You gotta play her perfectly. Her playstyle is very sketchy, I'll say. But if you master that playstyle, man, Hela is an insanely powerful champion. But for most people, I wouldn't advise about using Hela. The robot's basically like a warning of the champion. Like, be careful trying this. It's not for everyone. Nebula as well. We'll talk more about Nebula later. And Proxima Midnight, probably one of the most deserving of this robot, man. Proxima Midnight's one of the most powerful champions in the game by far. If there was like Labyrinth level content that was very relevant today, I mean Labyrinth relevant, but I'm just most people have done it. But if there's Labyrinth level content today, brand new, without a damage cap, Proxima would be one of the most powerful champions for it by far. But that damage cap holds her back. But if you can play her well, if you can set her up each fight, man, she is a monster. She hits the hardest hitting champion in the game if you set her up right. So absolutely crazy. But you know, she got some other stuff that requires synergies, and she got that high sig level. She gets a huge benefit from that as well. But yeah, that's basically what the robot means. But let's start talking in the Omni tier. Let's jump into that. Talk about each one of those champions. Where else to start than at the top of the list? So Aegon, man, Aegon. He's a very interesting champion, man. When he first came out, I was really excited for him. Then I was a little disappointed, and I didn't rate him too highly. I saved my judgment for when the next relevant content came out, because, you know, I'm done Labyrinth. If I get an Aegon, what good is that going to do to me? Yeah, he's awesome in Labyrinth, but I'm done, right? That's the way I kind of thought about it. And then we got Act 6, and also the Maze. And if content's going to be looking like that, man, Aegon is looking like one of the most powerful champions in the game by far. If you have every single champion in the game set up perfectly, Aegon's the best. At a 1,000 hit combo, man, he's the best champion in the game. It's insane. Obviously, getting him there isn't easy, but just set up, man, he is a beast. He's reliant on his persistent charges, of course, because he carries the combo. He major benefit from that max signature ability to easily carry the combo over more. The higher the sig ability is, the higher amount of percent of combo you carry over. And then little pencil here for the mastery, deep wounds. He gets a great benefit from that. You'll see the little mastery sign against mystic champions, bleeders, those type of things. Mainly because, you know, bleeders, deep wounds get a huge benefit from that. Mystic champions, most of them get a huge benefit from mystic dispersion. They all get a huge benefit, but some can utilize it better than others. Yeah, so Aegon, man, just an absolute monster. Really hope to pull him as a 5 or a 6 star. And yeah, we already touched on Ghost. You can see she has 4 of the things here. There's 5 in total. She doesn't have persistent charges, so she can't qualify for that one. But yeah, she has 4 of the 5 little asterisks, essentially. She requires a lot, but in the right hands, set up correctly, man, she is so powerful. It is insane, the things she can do. She's basically debuff immune. Any damage over time debuffs, she can just turn them into more damage. That alone is insane, just as an ability. She can play any fight without being touched if you play perfectly, which again the robot means. So you don't have to block at all, you don't have to parry, you don't have to do anything. You don't even have to regular intercept, you just phase intercept, and there you go. Ghost is just an absolute monster, man. Corvus, another one, he's got basically 3 asterisks next to his name. He's very reliant on the persistent charges to get off that insane damage. Mastery setup as well. We have the mastery ones also for a lot of suicide friendly champions. So for Ghost and Corvus, these two, you really want to run the suicides when you play them. Yeah, Corvus, man, when you build up those persistent charges, you have suicides on, and you have the synergies. Let's say Proxima and maybe Doctor Strange or Nebula. That's extra attack on top of already all the attack you're getting, and True Strike. Once you get that, Corvus, there's so much that he can do, man, and he can't be evaded because that True Strike, man, once you set Corvus up correctly, the right mastery setup and everything, it is just nuts to see him go to work. Next up, we got Void. Void's insane, man. Void, just so good. You got the mastery thing because you want to be running Resonate, Despair to set him up properly and in the fight matchups where you want Void. You got the benefit from Sig level. He gets some insane attack increase from Fear of the Void once you get that going. And the synergy. So the little synergy thing right here, I originally had this on Void, then I took it off, then I put it back on because Void, he doesn't need synergies, but he gets a huge benefit from the Killmonger synergy. He basically becomes a regeneration champion on top of all of his other abilities for every unique debuff that he places on the opponent that's intimidating presence based. So one of his 3 debuffs being the fatigue, the petrify, or the evade countering one. He gets 1% health back, and he's applying those debuffs all the time from every L1 and just passively, so the regen's really nice on that Void there. Next up, we got Omega Red. Huge benefit from max Sig level, just increases damage by so much. Huge benefit from the Suicide Masteries, and what's that one, S3? The one where you take reduced bleed damage. You can take like no bleed damage with Omega Red, and with willpower you can. It's basically like a free regen anytime you have a bleed on you. And also the synergy. The synergy with Sabretooth alone is just so big for Omega Red. It does so much for him. It's ridiculous. He's already amazing on his own without it, and with it, man, it takes his spores to another level. And then Stark Spidey also makes the Omni tier. So Stark Spidey, I originally had him in the God tier. I didn't think he'd make it in the Omni tier, but then because there's one thing really holding Spider-Man back to me, and that's no immunities, man. 0 immunities. Every other champion on this list has some form of immunity control. Aegon, once he gets to the right combo, he can turn off any debuff. Ghost can turn off just any damage over time debuffs. Corvus is immune to shock, bleed, some other stuff, and yeah, Corvus can't die to debuffs or anything like that once he's awakened, as long as he has his charges. Void, Incinerate immune. Incinerate immunity is actually huge, man. It's becoming so much huger nowadays with Incinerate lanes. Omega Red, Poison immune, and 90% bleed resistance with the right masteries. Can take no bleed damage. So yeah, that was really the thing holding Stark Spidey back. But with the new Nick Fury synergy, maybe I should put the synergy sign, I guess, then with Spidey here. I'll do it later, but yeah, with that synergy you can shrug off debuffs. Oh, there we go, it loaded there. So yeah, that was Spidey, man. So he can get around some debuff stuff with that, and just Stark Spidey alone, man. I have the little up sign that he benefits from max Sig level because he doesn't need it. The Sig level doesn't really matter, but he does get a good benefit once it's maxed. He just starts critting, and he starts critting so hard, man. But the thing about Spidey is he's so good on his own. He doesn't need persistent charges. He doesn't need to be ramped up. All you gotta do is go into a fight, build up poise, and you're good to go, man. That's what I love about him, and that's why he really makes it. And just with that Nick Fury synergy now floating around, you can take debuff lanes with him. So yeah, you guys are probably wondering why there's only 6 champions in the Omni tier and all these other champions don't make it. And the reason for that is, to be in this Omni tier level, you really just got to be at that. It's just such a step up, man. These are the champions that are like so good. Like when you pull one of these champions, it is like, yes, man, yes, this is the game-changing champion I've been waiting for. And these other champions, they just don't quite make it. A lot of them are super duper close. But again, this is just my list, how I feel, and arguments can be made. I wanted to put a bunch of these guys in here. They just don't quite make it to me. Especially like Sim Supreme and Magic. There's no Mystic in the Omni tier level right now. I'm sure we're going to be getting some more Mystics this year. Hopefully one of them will make it in here. But yeah, they just don't quite make it. It's close, man. But yeah, just not quite. Magic, she's a beast. I have the synergy here. The synergy with Morningstar is really nice. The benefit from max signature level for sure. When she triggers Limbo, going over bar of power thresholds, that's huge for a lot of fights. And the masteries, Mystic Dispersion, of course, and also the half suicides with Magic is just ridiculous. Basically heal from the suicides from recoil. With the right mastery setup, it's crazy. Captain America Infinity War, man, again, he was close to making the Omni tier, but he just didn't quite make it. Major benefit from max cycle, but yeah, if you're on a Cap, man, you definitely want to max him out. Huge benefit from synergy, just having like a tech champ on your team. You get the Petrifies, having a Cosmic champ, you get the armor breaks, very big, and benefit from a specific mastery. Yeah, Despair on Captain America is awesome, helps to start reversing regen quicker. Blade, God tier for sure, man. Blade's beast, huge benefits from synergies. Blade, man, that's the thing. He kind of relies on synergies for some stuff. For if you want to like fight an Electro or like an Abomination, you're going to need to bring Ghost Rider synergy. Also, the Stark Spidey synergy helps a ton. And deep wounds, you're going to be wanting to run deep wounds if you're running Blade. Now let's talk. I meant to talk about this sooner, but let's go ahead and touch on the two newest champions, being Nick Fury and Captain Marvel. So let's start with Captain Marvel. So she made it into the God tier. Captain Marvel, man, I thought she was going to be really good. I thought she was going to be, I was hoping she'd be better than Corvus. That's what I was hoping for, because, you know, Kevin Feige, the guy that basically runs the MCU, you know, he said that she was going to be the most powerful superhero we've ever seen, which is BS, man, because if you guys have seen Infinity War, you've seen Stormbreaker Thor. She's not more powerful than Thor. I don't want to hear it. But, you know, so I was thinking, okay, if we get this Captain Marvel in game, which I'm sure we will, because it's going to be a big movie, I'm sure we're going to get a Captain Marvel event, she should be pretty powerful. I was thinking about this like months and months ago, like way before any of this was announced. I was thinking she was going to be very powerful, and I was hoping she'd be very powerful. Also, we have 3 Captain Marvels, or Miss Marvel characters in the game, 3 of them, and they all suck. So I was thinking, like, if Kabam's going to release another one, this one better be good. I feel like it's going to be really good. And when she came out, there's, like, no hype around her. There's, like, no hype around her at all. Then people got her. We started seeing some gameplay. I was like, okay. Then we started seeing some more gameplay, and we're like, okay, she's pretty good. And, yeah, then I was commentating on Seaton's Act 6 run, and he was using her for some shock lanes, actually. She's not shock immune. And she was just killing it, man. She was killing it. I really liked what I saw. And she's not as good as I was hoping she would be, but she still is really good. And I'm a big fan of her and how they made her. I really like champions with the indestructible ability and a way to utilize that. A big fan of that mechanic in the game. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Captain Marvel. Big fan of her burst damage output and how you can control it. And control that indestructible timing to maybe tank an L3 or something like that. Really like her, big fan of her, great prestige, great animations. I think she cemented God tier champion for sure. But she's just not quite enough to make it into that Omni tier for me personally. A big fan of her. Hopefully I pull her when I open up some features. Would love to get her. And now Nick Fury. So Nick Fury, man, we got to test him in the content creator program video. I made a video on it if you guys want to check that out. I like him. He's cool. He's got a very interesting playstyle, an unblockable playstyle, which is always really cool. The only other champion that really has that going on is Aegon, and it takes a lot to build it up. I had a comment on my Nick Fury videos like, this guy's like a dollar, was it like a dollar store Aegon or something like that? That's pretty funny. It's kind of accurate. Nick Fury, I like him, but he's just, to play him correctly and to get the max damage output from him, he has to trigger his signature ability, so you basically have to die first, and then you drop to basically 30% health, and you gotta do your work in that 30% threshold. So only having 30% health to play around with can be kind of sketchy, especially in an area like Alliance War. But when you play in that area, it's really fun. It's really fun. If this was a tier list for fun, he'd definitely be at the top. But it's risky, man. It's risky. And in this game, in areas like Alliance War, you don't want to be taking those kinds of risks. So I feel like that really holds him back. And even the damage output you get in that area, it's not Omni tier level, right? Definitely God tier level, but it's very bleed reliant. So if you're fighting a bleed immune, so yeah, that's my thoughts on Captain Marvel, MCU, and Nick Fury. Moving down, there's some other champions down here cut off. These are the rest of the God tier champions. So we got Blade, Cap, Magic, Symbiote Supreme. He doesn't make the Omni tier level because Symbiote Supreme, man, in the right matchup, he's definitely Omni tier level. Like, for fighting a champion boss, man, he's the best option in the game for sure. When there's a lot of buffs and the opponent can bleed, he is amazing. But there's a lot of matchups where you're not going to be able to use him that well. Like, if I can take him into Labyrinth, fight like a Miss Marvel, have class advantage, the fight's still not fun, man, because there's no buffs. It just takes too long to get power, and it's not, nah. So yeah, he doesn't make it. Quake, we already talked about her. You got to be able to play her well. Havoc, man, I'm really surprised about Havoc. He kind of came out of nowhere. He kind of blew everyone's expectations, and he's a beast, man. He's a certified beast. Thing, got the little synergy sign here. Thing, man, he, like, if there was a chart on how reliant these champions are on synergy, Ghost would be quite reliant, but Thing would be the most reliant, dude. To play, for Thing to be God tier, the damage I've seen from Thing, like, you gotta do some crazy stuff with him. You need like 4 synergy spots, and it's nuts. If you could do what I've seen people do with Thing with less synergies and everything, with like only 2 synergies, then I think you could make Omni tier. But you know, like, you can't bring 4 synergies to Alliance War with Thing to set him up like that, and it's kind of sketchy to do as well. But yeah, it's crazy. But once you set him up, man, he looks sick, dude. I really hope I pull Thing. He seems so cool once you set him up and you like die. You take a whole bunch of damage, and then you're doing like 20k mediums. It's insane, man. It's awesome. Star-Lord, man, he's an OG. Major benefit from that max sig level. Oh yeah, that damage starts to ramp up like crazy. Star-Lord, he's awesome, but he doesn't make it into Omni tier. If he had a synergy with Aegon to let him carry over his combo to the next fight, then he'd be Omni tier, man. But he doesn't. So yeah, he doesn't make it. Morningstar. So Morningstar also has 4 little asterisks here, like Ghost, because she needs stuff. So first of all, reliant on persistent charges. She's the most reliant on this list, besides like Corvus. She really needs those persistent charges. With 1 soul, Morningstar is just garbage. She's trash, dude. With 5 souls, she's pretty awesome. With 5 souls, she could maybe make the Omni tier, man, but setting her up can be a real pain in the butt. But once she's set up, man, you got like 50% perfect block on every single blocked hit. You get some crazy damage from the L1. You got a great nullify on the L2. We also got the synergy sign here just because she doesn't need synergies, but it really helps to get her set up. You can bring the guillotine synergy, and that lets her start with another soul. You can also bring the Mephisto synergy, I think it is, which gives her a bar of power, which is really nice. Major benefit from max sig level for sure, man. Her sig level is actually pretty underrated. She can steal regen, she can steal fury, she can steal power gain, and it's pretty crazy once she starts stealing all those. And benefit from mastery. So yeah, definitely Mystic Dispersion. Once you start stealing those buffs, if you're fighting like Resistor or something, you can get some crazy stuff going. We talked about Hela. So Nebula. Nebula is one that you guys probably not expecting to see in the God tier list. But yeah, so let's talk about Nebula, man. Nebula is honestly the most underrated champion in the game for sure. With her synergy that came out with Proxima Midnight, it's such a big buff to the champion. Such a big buff, man. I've never even... Oh, okay, so I've never seen someone rank 565 a Nebula. I've seen one piece of gameplay from a 565 Nebula, and that I fell in love, man. As soon as I saw that gameplay, I fell in love. It was 565 Nebula versus Rumble Legends Wolverine. It was on a beta, and her shocks were ticking for 40k. 40k a tick. That is insane. That's absolutely insane, man. I really want a Nebula. I really want a 5 or 6 star Nebula. I opened up a Dungeon Crystal today to try and pull her, man. No luck. I really hope I get her as like a 6 star, man. I'd honestly think about taking her to rank 2. She's insane, man. That shock damage is nuts. You pair her with Proxima. You start the fight with 10 shock charges. You pop a Power Star 1 boost in Alliance War. All you gotta do is build 10 shock charges, 10 more. Build up 1 bar of power. You drop that. You parry. You drop that L2. Anything that's not shock immune is dead. They're dead. Doesn't matter. It's just insane, man. so underrated. I really like to see someone 565 Nebula, or if I get one, do it myself and just start showing some sick Nebula gameplay, man. So yeah, but she also has the robot here because you need to play her right, man. Her playstyle is a lot of blocking, building those charges, and that can get kind of hairy. She doesn't have the best block proficiency in the world, so you definitely got to play her the right way. But in the right hands, I think, man, she can be god tier for sure. But yeah, she's got synergy for Proxima synergy, and the right masteries. Suicides you can run with her to get some insane damage, and also could run spare. You can pretty much turn off anyone's regen with those shocks. Also, Nebula has power control with her L1. You can power lock and power drain at an opponent. Well, not any opponent. They have to be able to be shocked. But yeah, definitely an interesting pick for being on god tier. I'm sure that's very surprising, but that's the reasoning behind it. Let me know what you guys think about that. But yeah, next up we got OG Vision. So this is a big one that's very big disagreement I have with Seaton's tier list, actually. He has OG Vision in his, I believe it's his demigod tier with the other Vision. He has both of them in the same cell, which absolutely I disagree with that. OG Vision is way better than Vision AOU. I have Vision AOU over here in the great tier, and OG Vision in the god tier. So why is Vision in the god tier? He's one of the best champs at what he does, man. Just power control, power control, power control, power control. His ability to control power is just insane, and he can do it at the start of the fight without boost, without anything. He just, that high sig level. Yeah, he's got the pointer upper for the high sig level, because boom, you just start with almost 2 bars of power. You control any, start the fight controlling anything, man. Also got the immunities, which is super important, and he's a robot, so which brings new utility. There's a bunch of robots on this list, actually. It's just new utility for fighting delirium paths, which is super annoying to fight regularly without like a built-up Corvus. Super annoying to do. So robots, that's just the new utility that robots bring to the table now, and there could be more utility in the future, who knows. But yeah, OG Vision, I think he definitely deserves a god tier, man. He's a beast, and also he just keeps getting new uses, man. He keeps becoming more and more useful. Now, one of the most annoying defenders in the game, Havoc, right here. This guy is so annoying. There's very select few counters to him, especially on certain nodes. Example, node 24, a buffet node. To fight Havoc, you need to basically get around the damage that he does to you. One way is with an armor buff, but on node 24, your armor buffs are just going to be nullified by the node and just heal Havoc up, so that won't work. I've seen people try Havoc versus Havoc on 24, it didn't work. I had to go back up that lane with my OG Vision at rank 4, and he handled rank 5 Havoc on node 24. It did great work, man. It was great. I actually have a video on it if you guys want to check that out, but yeah, just OG Vision, man. He'll always have a use, and he's just awesome. So yeah, definitely deserves that god tier in my opinion. And yeah, I also got Domino in here. Again, Domino just doesn't quite make that Omni tier to me. Big fan of Domino though. I've seen her do some crazy stuff in Labyrinth. But the thing is, when there's a bleed immune opponent, seems like she's gonna struggle. And I feel like sometimes when I play her personally, I feel like I never trigger that lucky when I need to, when I'm about to drop an L2 or something. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Archangel, he doesn't make the Omni tier just because if you're fighting someone with immunities, he's just gimped to hell, man. But Archangel, in the right scenarios, man, he is a monster. Just an absolute monster. Gulk. Gulk only makes this list for one reason, and that's because of Starburst nodes. It comes down to supply and demand. There's a supply of Starburst nodes, which means there's a high demand for a counter, and he's the only one we got, man, so he makes it. He's the only real counter we have to Starburst, kind of, so yeah, it's until there's more counters, he's gonna, that's what gets in this spot. That pretty much, he doesn't have a whole lot going on, but he has that going on. Medusa on this list, she makes it because with those synergies, man, with the right mastery setup, man, she can do some work. She can hit pretty hard. She can really stack those bleeds. She can turn off regen through despair, stacking up those passive bleeds. She's really good for fighting robots. And yeah, I like Medusa. She's cool. You do some good stuff. Hyperion, Big fan of Hyperion, really highly rate him. Just the utility of his power gain alone is just so useful for fighting like Aspect of War. You can pretty much just use L1s on the opponent, let them come at you. You don't even have to get touched in a lot of matchups. Hyperion, man, he's just great. Some great damage. Little thing holding him back is just the RNG on his heavies for getting those Furies. Can be a little annoying at times, a little frustrating, but yeah, he's a beast, man. Sentinel. Sentinel's very surprising, man. He flew under the radar for months, honestly. For months and months, this man flew under the radar. But finally, I think a lot of people are talking about him. I've seen some awesome gameplay. Once you set him up, you can do some really good damage. And again, he's got that robot utility. He's just a beast, man. He can do some great damage output. Yeah, I've seen some great things. Would love to pull him as a 6-star. Darkhawk, I really underestimated him when he first came out as well. But yeah, he's a beast, man. You run the right masteries, being suicides, you cycle those L3s, man. He hits super duper hard. He really benefits from that max sig ability. He kind of needs that max sig ability. And also some synergies with Night Thrasher. He starts the fight in a mode, which is super nice. Oh, I need some water. Well, we're already going for half an hour. Yeah, Darkhawk's beast, man. We're going to talk about Proxima. Really, that robot, man, really got to be played correctly. If you can't build her up, she might as well be in the bad tier or the joke tier, man. Really needs to be built up correctly. And in the right hands, she's definitely got tier. Even arguments for Omni tier. Yeah, some other newer champs. Got Mr. Sinister. He doesn't make the God tier. Put him in the Titan tier. He's interesting. He's got that utility to counter Delirium. Basically, he can't be inverted controls, which is nice. Because the only other champions like that aren't robots are like Magneto, Juggernaut, Unstoppable Colossus. You're not going to be bringing those guys to Act 6 to do Delirium. So yeah, he's got some very niche utility there. Also, the most nichest utility in the game with the unblockable... being able to block unblockable attacks. The only other character in the game that I believe that can do that is Mordo, and you have to like be holding block for at least a second before he can do it. So if you were like to parry an unblockable special, it wouldn't work with Mordo. So this is just like a true block. You can block unblockable attacks, which is sick. So yeah, Mr. Sinister, man, he's cool. He's got the big muscle too, because he's relying on those persistent charges. If you gotta build him up if you really want him to hit hard. Black Widow makes the Titan tier, man. Really surprising. Before, a couple months ago, I probably would have put her in the great tier, but now that she's available as a 5-star at Sig 200, I believe her ability actually reduction is 80%. Instead of the 4-star being at max sig being 70%. So that 10% is a huge, man, absolutely huge. And versus Science Champions, it goes up by another 15%. So that takes her to 95% with synergies. You might even be able to get it to 100. And on its own, but yeah, that's okay. That's pretty cool. But one of the other most annoying defenders in the game right now, Thing. I've seen a 565 Black Widow kill a 565 Thing boss. After watching that video, I want a Black Widow, man. So I definitely think she deserves that Titan tier, with Thing being one of the most annoying defenders right now. Next up, we got Scarlet Witch, Doctor Strange, OG Thor, and Wolverine. These are the old gods of the contest. They don't quite make the god tier to me, just because they're only available as 4-stars, except for Doctor Strange here, which I've never seen any 565 gameplay. Maybe if I saw some of that, maybe that would make me put him in the god tier. But, you know, I think about it this way. I think about it Sim Supreme compared to Doctor Strange. If I had to pick one, I'm picking Sim Supreme all day long. All day long. Not even a contest. And yeah, we don't have an OG Thor as a 5-star. We don't have a Wolverine as a 5-star. We don't have Scarlet Witch as a 5-star. So I can't put them in the god tier until they are 5-stars. Maybe see them as 5-stars. I'd really like to see them as 5-stars, man. As 565, see what they can do. Especially Thor, man. I feel like he could do some crazy damage. But for now, they gotta stay in that Titan tier for me. Gamora. A couple months ago, she'd be in the joke, and she'd be in like the alright or the bad tier. But after her buff, man, she definitely makes Titan tier. She's pretty sick. Big fan of the Gamora buff. Dr. Voodoo, man, I feel bad for putting him here, but he just doesn't quite make the god tier for me. I don't hear anybody talk about him anymore. Don't see anybody use him anymore. He's just kind of outdated at this point. He still has some great stuff going on. Definitely deserves at least the Titan tier to me. Yeah, I feel a little bad for him putting him there, but that's the way it is. Iron Man Infinity War. He's a beast, man. I hear he's a Swiss Army knife. I don't have him as a 5 or a 6-star. Don't have too much experience with him, but I put him here. Yeah, I've seen a little bit of gameplay. I think the only gameplay I've seen is seeing he can actually power control with his L1, which is interesting. But yeah, pretty much only know him as a defender. Wasp, she hits super duper hard. I think she has the highest base attack in the game. She's some great stuff. I've seen her solo Labyrinth X23. That was awesome. Panaman Pete did that. Shout out to him. That was awesome. So yeah, definitely she deserved that Titan tier to me. Killmonger, he doesn't quite make God tier for me. I have him as a 565, so take it from me. I just don't feel he quite makes it. I like him a lot. He just doesn't quite make it for me, man. He just doesn't quite make it for me. Massacre, pretty cool champ. I saw some gameplay of him actually soloing. I think it was a Thing boss as well. Very interesting. Not too familiar with his abilities as well. Don't have him again as a 5 or 6 star. I'd like to play around with him though. He seems pretty cool. Emma Frost and Iceman. These two, man, they just don't quite make it for me. It's a God tier, which sucks, man. I thought Emma Frost. I thought she was a lot better when she first came out, but she's dwindled, man. In my view of her, which sucks because she's cool, man. She's really cool. She got the mastery sign though because you run suicides with her. She's great with them. Same for Iceman. They got great immunities going on at the very least. Ghost Rider, he definitely does not make God tier for me, man. Ghost Rider, I feel, is overhyped, I'd say. I have Ghost Rider at rank 4, man. I used a generic Awakened Gem actually on him. I regret that, but back in the day, the Holy Trinity was everything, right? That was everything. But it was mainly Shark Spidey and Blade, man. Ghost Rider was in their backpack, man. But I feel like Ghost Rider kind of got carried to their level, but I don't think he deserves it. Take it from someone who Ghost Rider was like one of my first 4 stars actually. I grinded for him when I was in the beginner bracket. I've had him for a very, very, very long time since he first came out, man. So take it from me. I know him very well. I've had him as a 5 star, and I won't rank 5 him. I'll never rank 5 him. I don't think he deserves it. He's a beast, but his utility in the game has definitely gone down over time. Like if you take a look at AQ a year ago, the amount of people using Ghost Rider in map 6 was really high, right? Now the amount of people today using Ghost Rider in map 7, down here you can't even see it, man. I don't see anyone bringing Ghost Rider in map 7 except for the people that take a path where you need Blade with the synergy. He's just gone down a lot. He's still a great champ, man. He needs the synergy with Blade for sure, because without it, when he doesn't trigger the judgments, it's so annoying. Definitely you want him to be a high sig level for that Fury to help his damage, because that's the thing that's holding Ghost Rider back, is his damage. His damage sucks. It sucks. Yeah, it does. With the Fury, setup, it can be alright, but it's like, like, imagine trying to use Ghost Rider in Labyrinth. Like, oh no, that hurts my head to think about. It sucks. I like Ghost Rider, I really do, man. It sounds like I'm really hard on him, but I've had him for a long time. I like him. I just don't like him that much. He doesn't make God tier for me, not at all. Red Hulk and Luke Cage, man, these two would totally be in the joke tier a year ago. But they got buffed, man. They're the first real 2 buffs, and man, they are awesome now. Red Hulk, some of the best damage from a science character in the game, besides like Thing, like raw damage output, I'd say. I mean, Cap's L2s are pretty good, but yeah, some great damage output from Red Hulk, man. Like I see a rank 2 6-star Red Hulk, man, versus a Mystic Champion with suicides. They just get torn apart, man. They just get absolutely torn apart. Luke Cage, man, he's a beast. He can hit decently hard if you get lucky with the light attack exhaustions, but really that indestructible ability, man, is so huge. Luke Cage is a beast. Venom and Carnage, 2 more champions that recently got buffed. Again, if this was a year ago, they'd be cemented in that joke tier. These 4 champions were absolute jokes, man. Actually, these 6. But yeah, they got buffed. now they're great, man. They're Titans. They make the Titan tier for sure. Venom, great bleed damage, great utility. Carnage for long fights, man. He's a monster. And Labyrinth, he does some crazy stuff. I feel like Carnage just needs, what he really needs is to be able to take some of what he's built up in a fight to the next fight, like a persistent charge. Maybe take 1 or 2 buffs with him to the next fight. I feel like that would help him out so much. Just building him raw every fight sucks. That's what I really don't like about him. The next 2 champs, again, 2 champs that a year ago sucked. Now, after they were the 2 newest buffs, along with Gamora, they're awesome, man. She-Hulk for longer fights. She's a beast like Carnage, and Spider-Gwen, again, kind of like Venom. She's got more utility, some pretty strong damage output as well, more bursty. But also, Spider-Gwen's actually a pretty good defender now. Next up, we got Redpool. So this is Red Deadpool, an OG of the contest, man. Not many people have him. I don't have him. It sucks, man. I bought the deals. I have him as a 2 and 3 star. And I always said when the Deadpool arena came around, I was going to get him. And then it came around when I wasn't really playing the game, and I was in Florida on vacation, so I didn't end up getting him. That sucks. He still eludes me. And then I also got Venom the Duck in the Titan tier. He's got the little muscle because he needs those persistent charges to build up those buffs. Some will argue he deserves God tier. Take it from the first person in the world to get him. I got him at Comic-Con early. It sucks building him up. I don't like it. It's not for everyone. Maybe you should put the robot here in the right hands. Yeah, I guess maybe. But I hate building them up. I really do. And that's not for everyone. Same with Morningstar. Just the slow build-up champs. They aren't for everyone, and that's fine. But yeah, for me, I put them here. Next up, Gwenpool and Rogue. Gwenpool, man, I almost had her in the great tier. Yeah, she's gone down so much. It's crazy. She has not aged well in the contest. But yeah, she's all right still, I guess. And same with Rogue. She's all right. You know, nothing crazy. Maybe she should be in the great tier. I don't know. Those 2 kind of barely made it into here, but. Yeah, we've been going on for 42 minutes. I think we'll stop her there. Here's the great tier and an alright tier. All the champs really in between. Go ahead and talk about the joke tier real quick. These are the champs, man. When you pull these guys, it's just when you pull them from a 6-star crystal, man, it's like what I just spent the last month grinding for this. Is this a joke? Is this a joke? That's how I felt today when I pulled Rhino. I don't know if Rhino should be in here or not. Honestly, just the fact I pulled him from my last 6-star crystal made me put him in here. I'm mad. But yeah, Iron Patriot, trash. Hulkbuster, absolute trash. Groot, absolute trash. Colossus, absolute garbage. Joe Fixit, absolute trash. Kamala Khan, I feel bad for putting it here for Sweta, close your eyes, close your ears. White Magneto, absolute garbage. Deadpool X-Force, absolute garbage. Howard the Duck, absolute trash. And both Cyclops, man. I mean, they're effective in Alliance War, but they're absolutely trash, man. Ugh. They shouldn't, like, these champions should not be 6 stars unless they get buffed. The only good thing about pulling one of these champions is versus pulling like an all-right champion is there's a good chance these guys are going to be getting buffed soon. Like if you pull an Iron Patriot or a Hulkbuster, I wouldn't be that bad because when they get around to the tech class, those are probably the 2 that are going to get buffed. So try to think about it like that. But yeah, guys, that's been my tier list. Wow, 40 minutes. Yeah, so I'm thinking now it really took a lot to just. The reason why I haven't made one of these in so long is because I've thought about it, I've wanted to do it, and then it's so much work to build it to start. Now that it's built, it'll be easy to update, add 2 champs every month. So yeah, it won't be bad. But yeah, it took I think it took me like 3 hours. No, more than that, like 3 or 4 to make it. I'm maybe if I don't make spreadsheets often. I'm no Brian Grant on the spreadsheets. This took a lot of work. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, drop a like. If you want to see more tier lists in the future, drop a like. Update it every month with the new champions. Let me know. yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you watch this whole thing, maybe you just grinded some arena, had it on the background. Yeah, thanks for watching all of it. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Yeah, any feedback, any varying opinions on what I have here? I know it's weird, very definitely different from Seaton's. Let me know. Any feedback's appreciated. If you guys want me to change some stuff, my mind can definitely be changed. But yeah, do it civilly, in a civic. It's not civic. Civil, in a civil manner. Propose what you want and an argument in a civil manner, and yeah, then I can change it if I see fit. So yeah, that's gonna do it. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy it. Let me know if you guys want to see more of this kind of thing. If you liked it, if you enjoyed my thoughts and opinions. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoy. Peace out. Subscribe for more content to come.